Hey, I'm Devin Cooper, and today we are hanging out at Eau Claire Distillery with the master distiller, Caitlin, and we're going to talk about a few things about their Rupert's whiskey and learn a bit more about it. How you doing?
Not bad, how are you?
I'm fantastic. Thank you so much for sitting down, hanging out.
No problem, anytime.
So, when people are kids, they talk about their dream job.
Yeah.
They talk about being a jelly bean tester or a video game designer or something like that. You're a master distiller. That sounds like the dream job for an adult. How did you get into it?
I started off doing an undergrad in chemistry, so I've got my honours in chemistry, and then I did a master's in brewing and distilling, which a lot of people don't think is a degree, but it does exist. So I did my 1 year conversion to get my master's in that, and then I came straight out here to work for Eau Claire.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So you get a degree in chemistry.
Yeah.
And then what makes you decide that you want to specialize in making whiskey and spirits?
Well, basically I did my chemistry degree, and then I decided that I didn't want to do any of the jobs that were available to me. None of them excited me. I wasn't excited to do it every day. Whereas when you do distilling for whiskey, spirits, anything like that, you get to taste it at the end. That's one thing you're told not to do in chemistry.
Yeah, normally you can't taste chemicals and things like that, but
exactly.
if you do it right, you end up with a damn good drink at the end of it that you can actually drink.
Yeah.
And as we know, whiskey is not a good thing, it's a great thing.
Yep.
How long does it take to make the Rupert's whiskey, and what's the process like?
So start to finish, we start here from grain. So the actual production process is fairly short, it's a couple of weeks.
Okay.
But then to call it whiskey in Canada, it needs to be aged for 3 years in an oak barrel. So we're usually about 3 years and 1 day before we take it out of the cask, and then there's some blending time. So I would say about 3.5 years till you can actually have it in the bottle.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That is a long process to make something and really have no idea what's going to come out. Like you think you know what's going to come out, but has it ever happened where it's not what you anticipate?
It has, so we put the spirit in, we know that it tastes good going in, so we're hoping it tastes good coming out. It's not going to pick up any bad flavours from the barrels, but you never know. So you kind of put it in with a hope and a prayer, and then in 3 years you'll try it. Usually if it doesn't come out tasting how you like, you just age it for longer. So you'll leave it for 6 years, 10 years, 18 for some whiskies, but usually we're getting good stuff coming out at like 3.
Amazing. I guess you can probably do a quick taste test before it goes into the barrels to know that you're on par and that you haven't added too much of something into it.
Yeah, for sure. We have like a flavour profile we aim for going into the barrel, and
Okay.
now we've got enough that we know it's going to taste good coming out. So unless something goes drastically wrong, then we're good.
Totally. So how long have you been working at Eau Claire?
I have been here for 5.5 years now. So we have been operating as a company for about 6.5 and 7. So there's a year before me, but no one talks about it.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. So 3 years to make a bottle of Rupert's whiskey.
Yep.
And typically less than 3 hours to drink one.
Yes. Well, if you're ambitious, yes, less than 3 hours.
So I know I have drank my fair share of Rupert's whiskey, and I absolutely love it. But I have to ask, who's Rupert? Where did the name come from?
So if you look at not just this label for this bottle, but our other products, we have a running theme of social animals. So we kind of refer to all our followers, all our customers as social animals.
Okay.
And Rupert was pictured on the very first parlour gin bottle. He's actually drinking gin in a parlour with his friend the bear, and we never had a name for him. So when we were bringing out the Ruperts, we wanted to bring him back because he was a prominent character, and then we gave him a name, so we called him Rupert.
Awesome, I love it. What do we say? Cheers to Rupert.
Cheers to Rupert.
Wait, how am I supposed to drink this? What's the rules on whiskey tasting?
Everyone always asks me this question, and there isn't rules. You drink it how you like it.
Okay.
So if you like it straight up, that's great. I'll usually try it straight and then add a couple of drops of water, because water and whiskey is an exothermic reaction, so it just means it creates heat, which means more of the flavour compounds come out when it heats up that little bit with the drops of water.
Just a couple of drops of water.
Couple of
Literally
drops of
just
water.
droplets.
Yep. Yeah, like literally you get like eyedroppers and you just put a couple of drops in. Or you
Crazy.
can use like a spoon and just let it drip off the spoon.
Well, I had no idea. Well, we'll drink it straight up now.
Perfect.
So as you're saying, 6 years in school and you've been here for 5 years.
Yep.
It's obviously a long process to get to where you're at.
Yep.
If you had one piece of advice for someone who's pursuing their dreams, pouring their heart and soul into something that they're doing, what would it be?
I think the main one I would say is just don't give up. Like, it's so easy to give up when things get difficult. And I mean, over the 6 years at school, the 5 years here, like it's not as if it's all been plain sailing. So don't give up and don't get disheartened. Like if you fail, just pick yourself back up and keep going. It doesn't mean you have to completely give up and start again. Just dust yourself off and keep going.
Live and learn. There's always something to learn about the process, and
Yep, exactly.
new whiskeys to be made and new adventures to be had.
There's always new whiskey to be made.
Perfect. Well, thanks so much for sitting down and
problem.
chatting with us, and we'll do one more cheers and
Perfect, thank
finish
you.
it off. Cheers.